Hello, welcome back to After Reality. I'm your host, Courtney Robertson. Today we are talking about hometowns, the latest in the nation, and I've got my one of my favorites, Zachary Reality. He's the cutest, sweetest, and I saw he was tagged in a story yesterday, or somebody shared a text message with him on it. So I wanted to get his take on that and what has been going on, and then also talk about hometowns and what is going on. So let's bring him in.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm good. I
Welcome to the
mean,
party. I mean, you
thank
don't have a
you.
banana over your face, so
Oh my
I
God,
just saw
no,
your
don't.
TikTok.
Well, I just made another one before I got on here. So now I feel like
Wait,
I put out what happens.
I need the updates. So
I
fill us
know.
in. I was gonna say that yesterday I was scrolling through Instagram and then I messaged you because you're obviously one of my favorites. And then I saw Carolina from this season posted a screen grab of text messages with Zachary Reality. So I screenshot it to read through it. And then my mind's like, wait, let me understand this. And then it followed up with like just like a single thing. But it was like
But
kind
he
of
didn't post
throwing,
all the context is just like missing.
oh, well, I appreciate you sharing whatever you're comfortable sharing, but I felt a little violated for you because you're so well liked and respected amongst the community. And I just felt like, oh, I was like, are you okay? Like, tell me what's going on. But, and then she has since deleted it.
Right. Yeah, everything is fine. It definitely was like drama that I didn't expect to get into. If you want to call it drama, I guess it's drama. I'm used to reporting on the drama, and I feel like she kind of like outed herself um, as like a source because I was, tweeting things about the Women Tell All, and I'm always really vague. I've been talking to contestants for years behind the scenes. I've never outed anyone for giving me tea, so I just thought it was weird how she like outed herself and outed our text messages because my intention has always been to help her and support her like I have been all season. And I think she really just got rubbed the wrong way that I was about a specific tweet that I tweeted about her walking off stage. And I think she kind of just saw red after that and has now questioned my intentions and my authenticity. So I just wish that she could talk to me and that we could clear the air because I feel like this was a fight that I had no interest in being a part of and tried to squash
Right.
immediately.
Well, I can relate and I've been through a lot of public stuff, but I feel like with you, like you report on what's going on and you've got a lot of friends in the Bachelor community. You go to a lot of the events and,
Mhm.
we've built a friendship over the years. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like to post somebody's like text message, a part of it, right?
A
I was like,
part of it.
and it
It's not
took
even
me
the
a
good part.
while. Like part of me doesn't even want to talk about it because it's like, part of me is like, it's just a flash in the pan.
I mean, I
But
think everyone just deserves to know what happened. So I'm just glad
yes.
that I posted what happened on TikTok. And, at this point, I just want to just put it all out there because it's weird.
But did it like seem like when you saw that message, like were you it's probably your first experience, I guess what I was touching on, it was somebody like sharing like personal messages between you, and feeling like you're like in the trust tree. Did you feel violated? Were you
That's
like,
why
what?
it was so weird, is because it's like she's the one that has been trusting me all season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one that's never exposed her or tried to make her look bad. I mean, like, it's just so weird that
And
she
she
would be the
compared
one.
you to like producers and
It just doesn't
get
make
your
sense.
bag.
My tweet specifically said, like, let's be very specific what triggered her and made her switch up on me. My specific tweet was, here it is. I'm going to it.
I'm going to
And
go
for context,
to it.
do the spoilers every single year. I said, my first spoiler, Dena was at the tell all, and let's just say she had a lot to say. You would not know where that came from. The next tweet, spoiler, someone walked off stage at the Women Tell All. I'm sure you could guess who. It was very vague and like it
I
was
mean, that
just
could be out there. I mean, there's the media there, there's the press there. I mean, the fact that she even thought it was you or jumped to that conclusion, like it wasn't necessary. Like,
Yeah, no one even thought it was her. Like based on my last tweet, a lot of people are thinking it was Dena who walked off stage because I said that Dena had a lot to say. So all I was trying to
that's what I
do was like,
thought when I read it.
yeah, like I wasn't trying to betray Carolina's trust. And I think that she's had such bad experiences with the producers and with this experience that she almost wants to put that on me. When, like, if I wanted to betray her trust, I would have done that weeks ago. And I still haven't betrayed her trust because clearly I stopped tweeting the spoilers. I was going to keep going. And I
Well,
stopped out of
I
respect
got
for
my
her.
tea here. Give me the tea. So
It's like now almost everyone suffers because, first of all, she didn't even give me a chance to keep going. I could have kept going and made her look good. And that's all I was
yes,
trying to tell her, is to let her know that, like, hey, like,
trust me. Yeah.
trust me, like, we've been talking for a long time. I've known you a couple years. Like, I've been doing this
Mm.
for years. Like, trust me that, like, I am not out to get you. I've been supporting you all season when you've looked bad on TV week after week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have
I know
tried
what
and
you're saying.
I've been friendly with her. So it's just was such a weird moment for me to have someone just turn so quickly and not even give me a chance to like delete the tweet. I apologized and it was just so quick to post on her Instagram story and try and make it seem like I was trying to I was out to get her when that was my last intention. And anyone who knows me or follows me knows that. So that's very clear. But where I think that I went wrong is by saying, I'm sure you could guess who. Like, I'm sure you can guess who walked off stage.
But
So I think
Zachary, I mean, we all know who.
Mm,
I mean, but it's open to interpretation. Why did
exactly.
she take such offense to it? Because it was probably her. She's like since been like, it was me who walked off stage. Like, I can't trust anybody. To me, it seems like I don't know her. I it seems like she's spiraling a little bit. And I get
Yeah.
that because I've been there and I've been to the women tell all. Like, you don't know who to trust. Like, I got thrown under the bus every which way till Tuesday. So, like, when you're a
Yes, you
contestant,
did. Yes, you did.
and
Those
then
people remember.
they backed the bus up and they ran me over, but I was like, "Not today." But also it wasn't a live taping, and clearly this isn't a live taping. So, but there's press there, like, she's since come out with a banana over her face saying like, they're not letting me do press, but there's probably a reason for that. And
Because they're not letting you do press because you just openly admitted that you're spoiling the show. That's why they're not letting you do press.
well, and she has to be very careful about that. Like, I will say, like, I know it's hard to like be painted as the villain and like get all this stuff. It's gonna all get washed out to sea. If you're listening to this, Carolina, but also I learned through this process and like deep despair that sometimes you have to just be patient. And if you want to share your side of the story, it
Yes.
can't really be on your time. And it really helps to have allies like you and like me.
It's just like it's someone who's like burning a bridge when she barely had any left. Like she
Bro,
didn't have much bridges. And it's just like
and I know you were genuinely probably trying to help her, and she lit the
literally
match too soon.
I was trying to exactly. There was so many good tweets coming. I was trying to help her. Like I
Can you
try
give
and
me a
help every single
teaser?
villain. Oh, at this point, it's just like
I know,
it's not worth it. I
right.
don't want to now that she's revealed that we have been texting. I wouldn't want to reveal our other text messages. I'm
Mhm.
not like her. I don't post text messages online, so that's just not something I would do. But I really hope that she apologizes, or even if she doesn't want to apologize, because there could have
Oh,
been some tit for tat there. Like I'm really
sweetie,
trying to give
I
her
don't
the
think
room.
she's gonna did you feel like she was a friend? I mean, was it like
No,
and
it's
I
not
talk
that we
about
were
friendships,
friends.
but like I feel like you connect with people that are on the show and like that's fine. Like that is not a NDA breach at all. Like you can make friends with whoever you want.
Mhm.
You can share things with your friends. So it sounds like you had been talking to her for a while
Yeah,
and you were
exactly. So
like
now it's like
and you were being a friend to her.
I
So
was being a friend to her and I was doing my job. And that's something I love about,
the
talking about the
space.
show is just being able to
Yes.
kind of like help tell people's stories who are struggling on the show. Like, that's fun.
Same.
And I like helping people. And I'm sure, and I know you do as well. So that's
Yeah.
all my intentions were. So I was just really shocked that she questioned my intentions and questioned me and thought I was lying to her over that tweet because that tweet was there was nothing else I've done all season after talking to her for 5 weeks that ever violated our trust
Right.
ever would have got that reaction. So it truly was that specific tweet that made her think that I was something that I'm not and completely turn on me, which is crazy considering I have watched the episode. I mean, like I've watched the show each week and I've never turned on her. And you know what I'm saying?
Well, I love your reporting and you go to a lot of events, you make a lot of great connections. I think people can live vicariously through you living in LA and going to these things and you've got great I mean, you're like what's Caitlin Bristow and I felt personally like a little bit offended just because you have built a community around you, and I hope that, that doesn't happen to you again, but I wanted to say that I feel like you're always so Swiss, like, you never, like, hammer into anybody, so I felt like this happening to you was probably the first time that you've ever dealt with kind of
That
negativity in, like, a
yeah.
public eye.
I mean, this isn't even that big of a deal, and maybe it will get bigger today on TikTok, maybe it won't. But I think that is a good point that you're like, I am always so Swiss because and
Yes.
like I don't do this. Like I do not do
No.
the tit for
You,
tat.
like, avoid it, like, at all
I don't like
costs.
conflict. That gives me anxiety. My biggest thing is I can't deal with the conflicts.
Me
So
either.
that's why I was trying to talk to her immediately. Most people, when they make a mistake, don't apologize. Like I don't apologize at all. Or it takes like I apologize immediately if I made a mistake. And unfortunately, she can't do the same. And maybe she will. And I'm going to keep giving her grace because I will do that forever as long as she doesn't keep
But really
burying
though,
herself.
like at what point do you like set boundaries for yourself and be like
Well, I
you
mean, at this point, all she really did was, post
shared
the
your
Instagram
texts,
story,
but
share
you
the
have
text.
texts that you could share.
I would never. All she ever did was share the
Would you?
texts, which in her mind could be a tit for tat for my tweet, which could have been a little bit like, even though it's not a problem, but in her mind, if it is, which it could have been, whatever, it's
She
not,
might
doesn't
be a
warrant
little
it.
paranoid right now. I mean, like
Clearly.
I don't know if she'll be in paradise, but we'll see. So, well, I appreciate you sharing that with us all. And people listening to this probably don't even know what we're talking about. Like I said, this will all get washed out to sea. But I personally was like, not Zachary Reality. What? But like, I mean, I'd be curious to see your thoughts on this last date before she went home. And I've heard that she said something along the lines of like, producers told me to go sit over there. From your experience and interaction with her, do you think that that was the case? Is she easily manipulated by producers? Or, I mean, anything you could share there would, because I think people
Yeah. I mean,
like
at
are
this
on the
point,
fence about her. Like
I mean,
she's
at
leaning
this
into
point,
it.
right at this point where I'm at as is that I now feel like I understand why everyone was frustrated with her filming the show with her.
Mhm.
And I feel like I've truly felt that with her the last couple of days where I'm like, wow, this is what it was like.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of the other girls about, what happened. And they were like, basically saying that like it needed to happen. You're going to cover the show and be this invested. This is exactly what it was like being with her. So at this point, I just feel like she lost all credibility.
Yeah.
And
I
I
did
think she
too.
needs to just like calm down. And I know it's so frustrating with the show, like editing her in different
Yeah.
ways and this negative attention. And girl, we love a villain. Look, us two,
You, Maria.
we love a
the-
villain.
I love Maria's style. Like,
So
but
I don't
was
want to go
she
too hard on
really?
her, but I just feel like at this point, there's clearly reasons why she got the edit she got.
I agree. And I've heard things too, but I'm not but first of all, okay, so we are going to put a bow on that because we're going to talk a little bit about hometowns. This date was very boring to me. So switching gears, everybody that happened. That had happened. But can we talk about your cute beard right now?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I
Can we
know the
take a
beard looks
moment for
good.
the beard?
The beard, I really should grow it out. It just gets more uncomfortable the more I grow it.
I love it. It's so sexy.
Oh, it makes me look so much better. I should honestly keep it. And especially because I'm
No.
not really wearing makeup anymore. Like I wear so
So
much
if
less
you're
makeup.
listening to the audio, you don't need makeup, honey. But if you're just listening to the audio, Zachary has a beard and a mustache. I'm like, who knew that you had facial hair? You've got a baby face.
Thank you. Yeah, well,
How's the reactions going in the streets?
I think I needed to grow more before I start getting reactions, but I'm going out tonight, so I will, keep you
Ooh,
posted.
yeah, please keep me posted. All right, so let's jump into the hometowns. I'm kind of glad Carolina wasn't there, but so we had Juliana and her Italian date. This is not going to be a full recap for you. This isn't that kind of show. We've got other things to get to, but I enjoyed it. It was a little snoozy for me, but it is my favorite. Like it's fall when they're filming. My hometown date was on Halloween, so it was
Mhm.
nice to see. I really like Juliana's date with the Italian guy who made the pizzas. He really sold the show. Letia went to Wyoming. I know you are a fan of Utah. They
Right.
She put Grant on a horse. I was like, did they get the oldest two horses in Wyoming? And then Zoe, who did her model date, it was an iconic shoot. And I can relate to the modeling stuff. And I felt like it was like her element and she needed that. And then Dena, um, it was Chicago and her family wasn't there. And I just felt for her because imagine going through this whole thing and then like the hometown dates and then like springing that to him. So that's kind of where we were at with the hometown dates. And then obviously Dena didn't make it to the overnight suites, but a lot to unpack here. Let's start with
Mhm.
Juliana. Love her style. Her boobs are on fleek. I like her simplicity in her dressing. I think that you and I can talk about that. I'm not a big fan of nose rings. May be an unpopular opinion.
Eh, it's probably not for me either, but, she rocks it.
She does, and her hair she's so beautiful. Her sister, her family, Carl, I loved her dad, like, he was like oh, I'm Italian, so I love that, like, Italian families are big families, they're loud, Grant held his own, but, I really enjoyed that, and I feel like I mean, if I had to guess gun to head, I would right now, I would say Juliana or Zoe.
Is gonna win?
Yeah.
It's definitely Juliana.
I mean, let's be
I
honest.
mean, Zoe hasn't even gotten a one-on-one date yet. I guess she finally got hers this week. I think that Juliana had a great date. I think it was classic. It was the first one. It went really well. Great family. And the key part of their date is that they both said that they were falling in love with each other. So that's huge that he said it to her, and it was the first person that he said it to this season.
Well, didn't he say it to Letia on their date, the week before? I'm not sure. I'm not clear on that. But then we go to Letia, which I think it's really interesting, Zachary, that Letia and Zoe were both adopted.
I know. I think it was really sweet.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like, I don't know that we've ever had that in like two in one season. So, yeah, Juliana Schuin, she's stunning. She's likable. She's fun. And it just seems very lighthearted. And then he also really bonded with the dad, which I will say, I think that that is a huge part of it, especially with his background story about like
Mhm.
my dad wasn't really around and present, and I was raised by my mom. So I think that there's like, he really connected with the dad. Letia, Wyoming horseback date, beautiful landscape, um, and a lot of family. So I just want to touch on this real quick. When I did my hometown date, like I would have loved my best friend there. I would have loved my whole family there. But my sister had just started dating somebody. I mean, they've been together for a while, and they said, unless you're engaged, you can't be there. So something has changed within casting because
Mhm.
I mean, Juliana's family was huge. Latia's family was huge, and but they've never done that. That like it's like a switch up in format. I don't know if you remember somebody having that many people there. Like
I was
imagine being
thinking
the
that too,
lead.
yeah.
It's like overwhelming to walk
It
into.
isn't? So it's almost is and it isn't, right? Like, I was thinking like,
Yeah.
"Wow, this is so many people," like, maybe because COVID kinda canceled some hometowns,
Mhm.
but I was also thinking that maybe some of the families just are get so excited when, someone from a small town is on The Bachelor, and it's such a big deal. So you really only need 5 or 6 key players for hometowns, but I wonder that having 40 people almost makes Grant there's more room for like, chaos and, more
Yeah.
distraction, so it actually puts less attention on him than if there was only 5 or 6 people in the room, so it's less awkward. So I
Yeah.
almost feel like, you know what, just enjoy the party and it is what it is. Like, just be glad that you're getting to see a look into her life. I think that's what these hometowns are truly all about is you're getting a look into people's lives, um,
Mhm.
who are on the show and where they come from, and that's how he'll decide his final choices.
Oh, well, I love Letia, but I also like the Mormon thing I was uncertain about because, I grew up in Arizona. I grew up with a lot of Mormon friends, and I'm not Mormon, but I do believe in a higher power. That's a conversation for another time. But the thing that take away for me was her talking to her mom, saying like fantasy suites. Like I am 100%. I would love your thoughts on this, but for me, I was like, you need to tell him like now, like when you're on the bench
Yes,
before you
that's my
go
same
see the
thought.
family, like you like this is going to be like Susie Evans
Or Maddie
2.0
Pruitt.
or Maddie
Susie or
Prue.
Matt. Yes,
Like,
and it's kinda weird because like, I definitely think Letia is a big Bachelor fan, so I'm like, "Girl, you gotta know this." Like, I
yes,
almost think she's setting herself up for failure because if she doesn't get that first one-on-one date for Fantasy Suites next week, then, it's very possible that he'll fool around with Zoe and
of
Juliana, and that it will
course.
be a little too late, and then she'll
And
be
he
forced
might
to
have
kinda leave.
already. Like, I feel like somebody like Juliana's like, "Oh, we've really connected." Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there hasn't already been some tomfoolery. But but she should have told him on like before they went into like when is she going to tell him at this point? Like, especially if she doesn't get that first date. We'll see. But I watched the preview very closely, Zach, and it seems like she gets the last one. I mean, that would be good TV.
Oh, of course, we want her to get the last one. I mean,
We
it's
do.
her fault
Isn't
because
that horrible of us?
even if she didn't wanna tell Grant on the hometown, she could have told him during the rose ceremony. She could have
Yes.
pulled him aside. I just really think she's setting herself up for failure, and I don't know if that's what she wants. Because sometimes I low key think that she isn't in love with him and that she low key
Mhm.
might just wanna be the bachelorette this whole time and that she's just so nice, so no one's ever gonna suspect that she was being a little manipulative, but, I mean, Latia seems great, but it's possible that she is performing a little bit for the show.
Oh, I love that. I agree. You just like took the words out of like everything I've been low key thinking. So
Mhm.
Zoe, model date. It was sad that her parents didn't come. And I feel for anybody but her aunt and uncle rocked it. The house was stunning. And, she was in New York. Do you think that was that New Jersey? They didn't like, they didn't, say where they were doing that. What did you think? It was a beautiful setting.
Yeah, I was wondering where they were too, if they went upstate or Long Island or whatever.
Right. What did you
Um,
think? My husband's like, I think it's New Jersey, but like you couldn't really
I
tell
don't know
because
because she was raised in Virginia. But did you know that that bridal shoot that she did, it was actually for Brides Magazine, and it was just like an
what?
opportunity, that was presented to her and Grant, and, like, she's already a model, so why would she take that down? I know some people thought it was a little creepy how she was dressing up in a wedding dress, but it was actually amazing. I thought it was a little, like, premature, but, I mean, if she's not gonna get his heart at the end, you might as well get the photos now.
Well, I don't know if you remember my season. My hometown date was a wedding. We did
Yes, it
we
was.
did it was like we did the whole wedding thing, and it felt very real. I didn't wear a wedding dress, but, I mean, who doesn't wanna play dress up? I mean, beautiful.
Yeah.
We didn't even really get a Pretty Woman date this season, like, kinda Juliana with the Bridgerton date, right? But I'm like,
Mhm.
"Did she get to keep the dress?" Like, did she get to keep the earrings? Like, that's why I personally love watching this show, and I've been on it, but, like, to see the glitz and the glamour and the fairy tale of it all. Call me naive. And then Dina didn't meet the family, and I really truly hope that she doesn't feel like it was because her parents weren't there. I felt bad for her because obviously Zoe's family, mom and dad weren't there either, but I feel like she's gonna and her parents even, that's gonna even cause more of a rift between them.
No, I mean, I think Dina actually, I read her article. She did an interview with Parade Magazine, and
Oh, I missed
she
it. Tell
basically was
me.
saying that she probably didn't prepare her parents enough. Like
Mhm.
before she left for the show, she probably didn't expect to make hometowns. And because her family, is um, Pentecostal, and also her mom is from Romania, they just like did not want to be on TV. But if she really prepped them sooner, like she wonders that if they maybe would have done it because it sounds like they just got a call a few days before and we're not really familiar with the format of the show and that there was only 4 women left and there was an engagement. So that's why her family made a joint decision to opt out of filming the hometown.
Well, there you have it. So Dina left. She got the caboose. And next week is the women tell all. And I'm going to be watching with an eagle eye.
Oh my
So,
God. I can't wait
ugh,
to see what happens in regards to her walking off the stage.
how are they going
Um,
to portray it? They're probably, I mean, and honestly, what just happened with her and like how she should not be. I mean, she basically spoiled that. Like, you weren't saying her. And Who knows? I mean, maybe she saw it somewhere else. I mean, Reality Steve spoiled the season already, for God's sakes. I'm spoiler free, but
Right.
I
And
mean,
I
there's
am
so
usually
much
too.
stuff out there. But
Yeah.
we'll see what
I
happens with
mean,
that. We'll see
I
how.
know, and at this point now I'll be looking at things through a different lens, but I guess the major, T is that where when she walked off stage, it was during it wasn't necessarily I mean, it wasn't a commercial break because there's no commercials because it's not live. It was
Right.
some type of break where the girls were doing their makeup
Mm.
and they were not supposed to leave. They were supposed to stay in their chairs, like kind of touch up, take a second. And that is when she took the opportunity to walk off the stage. And that is when the cameras followed her, which is, of course, super invasive. So I also wanted to kind of clarify that. Like, I feel like she really felt a type of way that the cameras followed her off stage. Is it what she signed up for? Yes. But, you know, she was really going through it and she felt ganged up on and the cameras followed her off stage. So I want to say that I don't agree with that. Or maybe that's up for interpretation, right? I don't want her to think that, or anyone to think that I'm co-signing her
Right.
trauma by that tweet. And I think that's what she kind of thought. So I really want to make that clear that like I see her side, I see why she's upset. I apologize. I want to talk things through and it is what it is. And she's going to have a lot of bigger fish to fry and problems when this episode comes out next week. It seems like she's feuding with a lot of the girls, so hopefully I'm the least of her worries because I don't want a problem with her.
Well, and that's you in a nutshell. I mean, I think that that's how you operate and you move about the world. And like, I can vouch for you, and not that you need it. I think a lot of people would. And in these circumstances, because I've been there, I've been in her shoes. I have been at the Women Tell All. They stopped rolling for a break because Chris Harrison was sick and the audience was booing me. I mean, I have
Yeah.
literally walked her shoes. The girls were yelling at me. Cameras weren't rolling. This is before they even did live. And I remember I smoked cigarettes at the time,
Hmm.
unpopular opinion, and they my mic was still on and everybody in the media was still listening to me, and I said, "Can I just leave the stage? Like, I just need to go pee. Maybe I'll have a cigarette," which I haven't smoked in years. But I was like under so much stress. And then I remember the magazines the other day. It was like Courtney leaves the stage to smoke a cigarette or something. So
Yeah.
to put it in her perspective, I don't know if she'll
I
listen to
get see,
this.
that's the thing though, yeah, and
I
I
don't know if
agree,
it
I
will.
agree. No, but that's the thing, it's that I agree with her perspective, I understand where she was coming from, and I just think it's
Sometimes you
really
just wanna, like, move your energy around, but, like, it was so minuscule
it
in
was
the
so
grand
minuscule
scheme.
for yeah, and so
Yes.
I understand that she's going through things, but I was the least of her worries, and I was
Yep.
never out to get her, and there clearly are producers that she feels that were. I am not one of those producers, and, good luck on the tell all, I can't say that I think it's gonna go well for you.
I can't either. And also, you gotta make friends. You gotta play nice in the sandbox. Even if you wanna scream it from the rooftops and talk about all these things, you can't don't get sued by Warner Horizon. It's not even ABC. It's not the producers that you may or may not like. It goes way above you. So,
Yeah,
I
she's
always
the one with
say
the NDA, not me.
no, exactly, and I've got your back anyway, um, so we'll see how that goes, and, I think that's about it as far as The Bachelor goes. I appreciate you sharing your story with us. What else is there anything noteworthy in the news? Jax Taylor just came out and said that
Yeah, that's
has
crazy.
he has a problem with cocaine. I've also been dying to ask you how your friend Allie's doing.
You know what? She's actually in a really good place. I got lunch
Okay,
with her
good.
last week and she
You
has a new
did?
she has a new apartment and she's really put a lot of effort into it and she's focusing on her career.
Good,
She has a few projects, she's pretty busy and she's doing
good.
well and she wishes James well too and I think that's important to say is that she really does wish him the best.
Okay, good. Well, that's Allie who was with, James Kennedy. And I see he's like sober and DJing and what else you got going on? Do you have any trips planned, sweetheart?
Oh my god, Chicago. I'm going to Chicago. It's my first time. I'm going next weekend.
You've never been to Chicago.
That's why I was like, it's now or never. I'm going for St. Patrick's Day weekend. I'll be staying with a friend, and I also have a cousin there. And my cousin has a daughter, so I'll be there for her first birthday. So it'll be a super exciting, fun
Mm.
weekend of family, friends, exploring new
That'll be good.
foods.
That'll be so fun for you. Get some
Yeah,
pizza for me. If you want me to text you some ideas for annoying gifts that the cool uncle does,
yeah,
happy
I
to
will.
do it.
But thank you so much for having me. Everybody go follow me at
Yes.
Zachary
Oh,
Reality.
by the way, Zachary is like viral on TikTok, obviously, and you have your podcast as well. I hope you do more of that soon. So, where can everybody follow along, sweets?
Yeah, just Zachary Reality on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, my podcast, and my YouTube channel. It's all the same.
All right. Until next time, I'm your host, Courtney Robertson, and this has been After Reality.
Bye, guys.